JT, welcome.
Thank you.
So let me ask you a dumb question. You're this monster radio network operator.
Yep.
Web pages are a big part of it, or do people just listen? And how much is sort of the online or mobile interface part of your business?
It's a very good question, and I think we were guilty of this, and certainly a lot of media companies who evolved from sort of non-digital starting points to the web. They tried to replicate their existing business online and kind of stumbled. And we recognized a couple years ago that really our biggest asset was assets were the quality of the content that we had and the reach that we had every week with all these different consumers. And like anyone, we couldn't quite predict how the world was going to go, but we did know that people were going to obviously consume content in more ways than just for us, the radio, or in print, or online, or on television. And so we've been focused on how do we create great brands and make that content available across any device. And so we've been public with 3 brands we've launched. The first is Westwood One Sports, which a lot of people are familiar with given its sort of history. But the two new ones we've launched, one is called Red Carpet Radio, which is around all the different award shows that we have rights to, from the Grammys to the American Music Awards to the BET Awards. And then the thing we're most public with, and I think we're most relevant for this conversation, is around NASH. So for us, NASH, if you want to think about it as an ESPN for country, we'll have obviously NASH Radio. We're the largest player in the country radio space. About 30 million people a week listen to our radio stations in country. We also have NASH Magazine. We'll have NASH. We actually launched a NASH record label. We have a bunch of live events, and we're also January 1st launching NASH TV, which is a full web video component. And as a part of that, and a teaser in December on Fox Television, we'll have a NASH award show. So for us, really building a sort of 360 component, building off the back of the great original content, the great brands we have in radio, and the incredible distribution that we have to promote people to experience those assets everywhere besides digital.
So how big are you guys in terms of your online presence? I mean, is there an aggregate number? And also, how many of those pages are, have video, could have video, both through original programming or through this sort of display scenario that we've been talking about?
So good question. We're in a position of evolution. About 9 months ago, we announced a partnership and a ownership stake in a company called RDO, which is one of the big players in the digital music space. We're in the process of evolving to where we integrate a lot of our digital experiences from an audio standpoint with RDO. So we're their exclusive sales representation in the United States, and combined between our owned and operated assets plus RDO, we're in the probably 4 or 5 million sort of core digital, I'd say premium digital uniques a month. That's both from mobile apps as well as web pages. And a lot of the original video content, a lot of the real just full-on production, that doesn't go live until Jan 1. So we expect a lot of that to grow. And part of the reason we expect it to grow is when you think about a web video that we create, let's say around NASH, we're going to do something around cars and automotive. We're going to go get all the country stars who come into our studio in Nashville to talk about their first car and the story of how they got it and why they were in love with it. Well, we would then break that video by having, for example, Brad Paisley come on our morning show, which is will be in 100 markets, and talk about that experience and send people to go get that online. And so, we think that we can dramatically use our distribution to drive our overall consumption of non-audio content.
So how is that commercialized, monetized, the video piece that you're really starting to launch with the network? I understand you're doing a lot of video with people in the local stations.
Correct.
Is that all done through direct sales? Is it done programmatically? Is it done through this sort of rich display scenario? How give us a scope of how that's going to be monetized.
So the 2 ways we monetize today, one is programmatically, and 2 is around the local sales. We work with over 100,000 advertisers as a business because we're in 95 different cities and have about 1,400 salespeople. a large part of our video business actually is local. And so what we realized within the past year that we could leverage the relationship that consumers had with our talent on air, we could do that with video. And so we see a lot of video testimonials. We see a lot of, as an example, in Detroit, we've launched a distinguished doctors program where doctors who meet certain qualifications, we go in and we've created a Sunday medical show. They come on air and talk, but then we have a whole segment online where it's a tour of their facilities. It's the doctor talking. They're talking to with patients around receiving care, and so this whole sort of thing built out of that locally. Starting in January, our digital video assets can't be bought just as digital video. They have to be bought as a part of a whole package, because we think that the whole idea of being able to sponsor something on air and online and through our mobile experiences is what's going to drive the most value for our brands that we partner with, as well as what's going to provide a consistent experience for our consumers, whether they're listening on air or whether they're consuming mobile apps or going to our websites.
And audio is growing. How does video advertising play into that? Is it sort of surfaced in the app, or how does that work?
Yeah, and that's where the folks like Teads and eBuzzing come in for us, both on the audio web experience and mobile experience of being able to, for example, a brand to be able to sponsor an hour worth of free listening. And so you'd start by watching a video, and then a consumer can listen to whatever content they want. In addition to a brand being able to create their own branded playlists or channels or things like that, integrating video into that as a part of the starting experience, we found to be very successful in early testing.